Welcome to the Fruitful Faith Women on Mission podcast. This podcast is created for purpose-driven women just like you who crave more. On the Fruitful Faith podcast, you can expect Christ-centered conversations that will help you to cultivate a life that you and He love. We'll be talking about topics that matter, topics that impact your everyday life. We'll talk about anything from how to transition with grace, to what to do when you're overwhelmed, to how to be content and joyful right where God's got you. It's going to be good. Let's dive on in. Hey, and welcome back to the Fruitful Faith Women on Mission podcast. My name is Alexandra Cavill. I'm a certified professional master coach for Christian women who are looking to live their most intentional, prioritized, and Christ-centered lives. They might be feeling overwhelmed or scattered and are just looking to live in better alignment with Him. And so this podcast is meant to do that very, very thing. And so I'm so excited today as we are part of the season 3 series on You Asked, We Answered. And today's topic is a really, really cool one. It's all about how to seek your next right step from God. So I know so many of us have been in situations and maybe we're wishing or thinking, if only God would tell me exactly what to do next, or I have no idea to go left or to go right. I just wish I could clearly hear from Him. So if you've ever felt yourself in that season, if you would ever have felt that you would love to audibly hear guidance from God on what to do next, I get it. I've totally been there myself. And that's what we're going to unpack and hopefully help you to make some progress on today. So to get started, to kick off, and if you don't already, I always like to say, make sure you grab a pen and paper, your favorite pen and cute little journal, or even the notes up on your phone to just take some notes of what it is that you're hearing through this time together. Hopefully, my prayer always for these podcast episodes is that God's going to speak to you clearly in a way that you maybe didn't anticipate, but so needed to hear. So, as we kick off, the first question that I'll ask, if you will, to start is, what is it exactly that you want clarity on? So simple, but so important. So sometimes we're so consumed, overwhelmed, maybe off balance. We don't even know where to focus. We know we're upset or something's off, but we don't know maybe what that thing is exactly. So take a moment to pause and consider. Is it something career related? Maybe you feel like it's about changing jobs. Maybe you feel like you would like an answer around that. Is it relationship related? Maybe you have a challenge to address with a friend and you're feeling stuck in that area. Maybe it's something with fitness. Maybe you just know things could be different or better and you're just feeling off. And perhaps that is the reason why. So just taking time to pause and check in and see, what is it that I need the next step with first? So consider digging into one area, right? One area to begin. So it's just simply not quite as overwhelming. So I would argue then that a part of not knowing also what to do might in fact be connected to faith or maybe lack thereof. So we're called to trust in Him. We're called to have faith, and that can be so much easier said than done. But with God, anything is possible. And building and cultivating our faith when we're intentional about it is so doable. And so 2 ways to help with this. One is simply cultivating your relationship with Jesus, right? When you're struggling with your faith, it's getting into relationship with Him. I remember kind of going off of this, hearing once that having faith requires trust. Makes so much sense, right? But to trust in someone, we must be in relationship with them. So think about that, right? How do you need to be in stronger relationship with Jesus? What would that look like? Maybe what is one way in the next month that you might go deeper with God? So think about that for a second. What could that look like? What might you want to commit to in the upcoming 4 weeks or so? And one of my favorite verses, my favorite scriptures to kind of help with this challenge, the challenge of seeking your next right step from God, is Proverbs. So it's Proverbs 3:5-6. And it says, "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take." All right, so a second way, if you, right, you want to grow your faith so that you can understand what's next, is to consider how to be still. It's creating the space to hear from him. So think to yourself, what does that need to look like in this season for you? Does it look like prayer? Maybe it looks like journaling, or perhaps it's worship. Think about, when are you connected to the Lord most powerfully? And then make a commitment to do more of that and to do more of that soon. Okay, so when you're stuck in a place looking for your next step, you also, of course, want to ask yourself maybe the question, what are my motives? What's my agenda? What is driving the decision from your perspective? Sometimes we have to get really honest with ourselves as we think about that so that we're driven in the best direction, right? I've heard a quote and it says that the heart of the matter is a matter of the heart. So think about that for a moment. Where is your heart? Where is God's heart in regards to this? And how might an awareness of both of these things help you decide your next best step? Another way to think about this is to ask yourself, what choice would bring God the most glory? What would grow his kingdom, right? And the scripture I think that comes up here really jumps out is 1 Corinthians 10:31. Whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. You might want to think about too, what choice, what option will draw you closer to him? Which aligns with his desires for you? So that could be another good filter question, or a question to determine. Go left or go right. And Psalm for me, 37:4 comes up. The reminder to delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. So thinking from that perspective, delighting in the Lord, which of these perhaps brings him ultimate delight and honor? And then you may want to think about too, which option aligns with your overall life purpose. And then which choice will bring you closer to that or further from it. So it's another great way to kind of look at the challenge and make a decision. So I don't know if you've heard of the idea. I might have shared about it if you're an avid Fruitful Faith listener once on the podcast before. But if not, the idea of primary and secondary purposes. So essentially, we all have the same primary purpose, and no matter what our giftings are, what our experience is, and that's simply not easy, but simply to love God and love others. We're all called to do that, right? The Great Command and Great Commission. Our secondary purpose, that's more of those unique giftings that he's given us. So how can we intentionally steward them to serve others well? So thinking about that, is this decision going to help you live out your primary and secondary purposes in a better way, or is it going to pull you away from them? You might want to think about what could take you closer to God, which option. We want that, right? That's an ultimate goal. And then what option perhaps would take you further from him? That's something to think about and be realistic about. And then, of course, the idea is you're discerning a decision is to seek godly counsel. So consider who might speak truth over you, who might reinforce what scripture says and remind you, and use that as a filter to guide you in making the best possible choice over telling you what it is that maybe you want to hear, right? We all have friends or people in our life that we know will do that. We know we can go to them if that's what we want to hear. But what is it that we need to hear? And who might speak that over you? And the other thought to consider is that when we're overwhelmed, we tend to be holding on to more than God has intended for us to hold on to. So, in that vein, you might want to think about, what is it as you make this decision that you need to let go of? What is He calling you to release so that you can invite something better into your life? And think about how maybe doing that naturally perhaps goes with one or the other. And that could be freeing for you as well. So, friend, think about, what is it today that pricked your heart? What question kind of got you in the best way that's worth exploring further? Write that down. Don't let that go. God convicts for a reason. So let that capture you, and then consider what to do with it. How will you keep it front of mind? Is it writing a commitment in your planner? Is it writing this out on a Post-it so you can see it and be reminded of it? Think about what you're going to do, what action you're going to take, what change you'll make, based on what you heard today, and how that perhaps could drive your decision in a godly way. And then if this is something that really spoke to you today, just know that it's what coaching is all about. It's to help you make the hard decisions, to help you sort through the tough stuff, and bringing you closer to God in the process. And so if that sounds good to you, you might want to head to gracebasechristiancoaching.com/coaching and check out a little bit more about our freestyle coaching packages. We're able to dig into all sorts of topics, make hard decisions, and do it with God at the center of it all. I hope today blessed you. I hope maybe some of these questions might continue with you, and then perhaps you can even draw upon them to serve and love others well, as those close to you have to make hard decisions too in the years to come. Till next time. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Fruitful Faith Women on Mission podcast. If you love this episode, I would love for you to subscribe. New episodes will automatically show up on your phone when you subscribe. It's super convenient, and you'll make sure you never miss a thing. So excited to share more with you soon.